So cool. So we got a panel coming up, which is why these people are working so fast and efficiently to create chairs. They're just making them back there. But to introduce our panelists, Jim Louderback, who has been in this industry for a very long time and has been a great advisor to me over the years. He created Revision 3 and now works at Discovery because they bought it. This is Jim.
Thank you. Thanks. So yeah, we've got a pretty cool panel here. About 25 minutes, I think, we're going to panel it out. And the title of this panel, as Hank and John and Travis and those guys, like eyeballs and question mark equal dollars. So this is the panel where we've heard a lot of great stuff about the future and the past and how we create stuff in our fans. We're going to talk now about how we make money, or I hope how we're going to make money going forward. So I want to bring my panel out, starting out with Stephanie Horbaczewski. Stephanie Horbaczewski, who is the co-founder, president, and CEO of StyleHaul. We're all going to be sitting here, so I'm going to take a seat. Rhett and Malik, who apparently are one person, but two people. So Rhett and Malik coming out. You guys all know them. I'm not even going to tell you their last name. Barry Blumberg, who's the executive vice president of Defy Media, who was a big part of working with Smosh early on, big part of working in this industry. So Barry, and then from YouTube, the director of content partnerships, Malik Ducard. So we got everyone out. They told everyone to sit in certain places. I hope everybody's in the right place as Malik comes out. So yeah, so to get started when we talk about making money, so Brendan Gahan had a nice little column that he wrote, I think last week, where he said, 10 YouTubers get more views in 1 week than the Game of Thrones. Why can't we monetize it? Pre-rolls, are they the answer? Malik, what's up with pre-rolls? Are they the answer to making money on YouTube?
Well, I'd say increased monetization and just monetization in general is the answer to making money on YouTube. So I work on the content partnerships team and at YouTube, and one of the things that we're very focused on is getting advertisers and brands just more engaged. When advertisers are more engaged with YouTube, then there are just more ads in the system and more monetization to go around. A lot of us were at Brandcast this a few months ago, and we announced a few initiatives to get advertisers more engaged, like Google Preferred, which focuses advertisers on the top 5% of channels on YouTube. But
is that going to increase our yield per view? Is that going to be better for us? Are we going to get more money for every one of those pre-rolls?
Well, that's the plan.
That's the hope, right?
That's the plan.
All right, you guys, Stephanie, you buy into that? You think that pre-rolls are the answer to us?
It's not the focus of our business, so I don't think it's going to be the answer for me in particular, but Malik and I have done this dance before, we'll do it now. One of the things we're finding extremely successful is working together. So pre-rolls is definitely a piece of that, and then we're creating gigantic multi-platform marketing campaigns with Google across the entire world. We're doing 3 of them right now alone.
So Rhett and Malik, what do you guys think about the whole let's stick an ad in front of people when they want to watch your stuff?
I love pre-rolls. I prefer those over regular videos. I watch pre-rolls, and when I finish that one, I go to another video to watch another pre-roll. Sometimes I get in a pre-roll loop. It's like a pit of enjoyment. So I'm all for it.
He's never skipped a pre-roll.
Can you watch more of our videos?
Sure, yeah, and my mom will too.
Barry?
We love pre-rolls. You know, for us, monetization is really about finding ways to make money both on and off YouTube, and whether that's, you know, with brand advertisers or with websites or music sales or merchandise sales or movies or television shows or music. So, you know, we try to have a good selection of opportunities for the brands.
Definitely, we'll get into that, because I think there are a number of different ways that people are doing and making money here. And I'm going to start off with sponsorships, which I think everybody on this panel works with. And I want to quote my friend Dan Weinstein, who said it recently, talking about you guys, Rhett and Malik.
Yeah.
They do okay, but they certainly can't support a family of 8 on the AdSense.
Poor guys.
Weinstein said. But they've been working with brands for the past 4 or 5 years, and they do 10 times their AdSense revenue through these type of campaigns. Talk about those type of campaigns for me.
Yeah, for us, building a campaign from the ground up, working with a brand, we make a lot more money that way. So working with Gillette and creating multiple videos that are integrated into our show Good Mythical Morning is very lucrative for us. On our main channel, building a music video from the ground up with a company like Tiger Direct to create Nerd versus Geek, the epic rap battle. You know, we'll get 10 million views on that, but we're still gonna make more money negotiating a deal ahead of time with that company to build something that they want, as opposed to just slapping something.
And it's really 10 times the revenue of those pre-rolls that you guys love so much.
Well, I don't know exactly what the math is. I try to stay out of that. But I will say that running 2 channels, the Rhett and Link channel, which is mostly, it's irregular content, it's bigger productions and music videos and sketches. I definitely think when we do an integration on that channel, we get a big boost from a financial perspective. But Good Mythical Morning now is a daily show. We have 6 videos a week coming out on that channel, and it's long form, about 12 minutes average. So you're getting over an hour of content each week on that channel. And we've seen in the past year especially that YouTube has begun to reward that content, both in serving it up to people in terms of views and also in the AdSense. So I think that the way that content's being rewarded is changing that for us, and it's becoming self-sustaining without having to do the integration.
I'd also add, it's also not either or. It's like really a mix of different models, different monetization.
So that ad mix that can really drive for yield. We talk a lot about yield per view and want to make sure that every single view we maximize the amount of money that we can.
Yeah.
Stephanie, you guys are working really closely with Maybelline, and that's very much of an integrated partnership. Talk about how that works, and how do you work between the creators and the brand, and you guys sitting in the middle, and the tension involved there?
Yeah, I mean, that's been one of our most successful campaigns. We sat down with Google and Maybelline and talked about how Fashion Week content is really contextually irrelevant to this audience. It's 6 months ahead, it's too expensive, and what could we do to help Maybelline make the most of the content they're spending so much to do? So 2 years ago, we started a program where we actually said, well, we'll make it relevant by having influencers actually go and experience it and then tell you why you're seeing those trends in real life. The program is now 4x'd in size this year, which is just incredible. It's a massive media spend, it's a massive content spend, as I said, it's a multi-platform marketing campaign on every social platform, it's not just YouTube. So I love when we talk about monetization, we kind of limit it to 2 things, like media or branded content. There are 9 ways to monetize in one single video. You can be selling a product, there's affiliate links, there's 3 different ad units. I mean, we got to kind of broaden when we speak about how we're making money.
Right, think about those different ad units. And Barry, you guys just announced something yesterday or today called the Creators Program that's going to bring brands and creators together. What's your unique spin on how that's going to work?
Well, I mean, we're a slightly different kind of MCN. What we try to do is really work with partners the way that we've worked with Smosh or the Warp Zone or Break on YouTube, where we try to build brands up for the people that we get in business with, and whether that's on YouTube or with development in the television arena or working with big advertisers or producing an album, which we just did with Maria Digby, who's part of the Creators Program. It's really a broader approach than just we want to put your channel in our network and take a percentage of your pre-roll revenue.
So how many people out in the audience are from an ad agency or a brand? I saw someone from Publicis in the second row. I know there's a bunch of you out there. It's okay, you don't have to raise your hand. We are filming this. I know you don't want your bosses to know you're here. But talk about working with brands and how do you get a brand to let go? Because look, Rhett and Link, when you guys do something, you're not gonna just do the brand message. Stephanie, when you guys are doing something, you're not just kowtowing to the brand. If it's Smosh, you're not doing, Smosh is not gonna go out there and start parroting off a brand message. How do you work with brands and get that across? How do you get them to realize that you gotta let go to get it?
I mean, I actually said to one brand, you think I don't want to close the deal? Of course I do. So if I'm telling you it isn't going to work, it's because it's really not going to work. It's not because I don't want to do it. It's the results. I mean, we have the most engaged community on YouTube. It's insane. And so when you walk back in and you're able to show them, look how successful these campaigns have been, they're a lot more willing to broaden the dialogue, start talking to creators. Honestly, the people who know better than anybody are the creators themselves. So when brands start listening to them and realize how innovative what they're coming up with is, it puts us and the brands in our place and results in better programs.
Yeah, I mean, they're buying into working with a brand, which is us, so it's 2 brands coming together. When we worked with Buick on our Get Off the Phone song, they had to trust us that, hey, there's got to be a guy choking on a hot dog and dying in this video, because that's funny. I mean,
And brands
everyone
love
knows
when
that.
people die in their videos, right?
And so you would kind of trust us with that, and they did, and it was fabulous. He's okay. He was just an actor.
The evolution has been, spectacular over the last 7 or 8 years, from, the way that brands approach this space at the beginning of YouTube to, the way that they view the space legitimately, and the legitimacy of a lot of the brands that we put out there, whether it's Rhett and Link or StyleHaul, and they're willing to listen. And as Stephanie pointed out, it really is about the results. So when the brand fit is right, and when it's a good combination of creators and agencies working together, you get videos that can do 10, 20, 30. We have branded videos that have done 50 million views, where the audience, is loving the fact that it's a brand because it's a brand they like, and they like the video as well.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing to add, I agree with everything that they've said. The top 10 videos in 2013, 3 of them were from brands and advertisers. So you're really starting to see them.
So talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, your deal with creators is you get some revenue from the creators when ads are sold. When these integrations happen, you don't get anything. How does that make you feel, Mr. YouTube?
You know what? We feel when creators win, we win. Like all boats rise. And
So you guys are cool with everything these guys are doing.
I would say they don't get money.
Absolutely.
I would say, like, we're running a huge global program today. I don't think would have had nearly the media spend had we not worked together on it.
Yeah.
And unlike some of the individual programs, now the next evolution for us is also scale. Like, how are we doing this? That program I'm talking about is 60 channels, 3 markets, globally, 12 months. You're talking about a lot of content, a lot of creators, a lot of parties to navigate and to keep a consistent message. But I don't think they don't make any money. We never would have seen the dollars on either side had we not been there together.
We see a lift on the media. We see a lift on the media side as well. So we walk through these doors hand in hand together to the advertisers and the brands.
All right, so I'm going to throw this out just if anybody wants to jump in. You got a horror story, something that didn't work, something people can learn from?
I mean, these are real people doing real things. We had 2 creators going through personal tragedies, and the program was an utter disaster. I mean, it happens. I said to someone the other day, it's the black swan. It's never happened before to us. I hope it never happens again. But, the amazing part of this is these influencers are real people endorsing your brands, working with you. There is real life happening around that. So, what are you going to do? Pick it up and move on.
It's really evolutionary. I mean, there was a time when you wanted to say yes to everything, and sometimes you said yes when it was really against your gut. And, I think that, again, the evolution of the industry has allowed a lot of us to, push back and say, this is really not a good fit for us, despite the fact that, it would be very lucrative. Yeah. And, I think the result is most of the videos that wind up being produced as branded videos are much better than they were a year ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, who am I kidding? The guy who choked on the hot dog did die. Okay.
So we learned early on at Revision 3, we were doing Dignation 7 years ago, we were doing integration. I remember one of the early ones, we had IBM as a sponsor. We didn't really tell them what they were doing. We thought they knew. And one of the guys on Dignation talked about a penis, and that was the end of the IBM money. So what we learned early on is you just got to prepare the brand for what they're buying into. Let's move on. We talked a lot about integrations. We talked about the ad units. Talk about some of the other ways that people are monetizing or thinking of monetizing. I want to go off YouTube for a minute. And I want to ask, is there gold off of YouTube? A lot of people have been talking about moving off YouTube because maybe they get better ad splits, maybe they can keep all the money. Barry Smosh is the poster child of this. You guys, you do more off YouTube than on YouTube, even though they grew up there. How did you do it? Is it repeatable, and would you recommend other people do it?
So, the last part of the question is it repeatable? We've done it with a lot of our brands, and whether that's, Break or Screen Junkies or Omni or Smosh, we have big on YouTube presence and big off YouTube presence. And, 7 or 8 years ago when we first started doing Smosh, YouTube was not the partner, it was a partner. And we always tried to maintain a good revenue balance between what was coming in from YouTube pre-roll, what we did with advertisers, what the revenues were like on the video player on the website, and merch sales and everything else. So it really, each brand is different. Each of our brands monetizes in different ways. But I think it's really important for us as we build these things out to make sure that there's good balance and that you don't become wholly dependent upon a single, partner serving pre-roll and leave yourself in that situation.
Stephanie, what are you guys doing here? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I say this all the time. It depends on what kind of video you're talking about. If you're talking about what a lot of our creators are doing, which I would call video social networking, there is no other platform. I will keep saying it. I will say it over and over again. There is nowhere where you're getting the engagement numbers that you're getting on YouTube. So no, not for video. We are a multi-platform solution. Like I said, every single campaign we run is across multiple social platforms. It's a massive marketing campaign. It's not purely video. And so in that regard, it depends on what we said when we mean moving off YouTube. Yeah. And this gets into the conversation of short form versus long form is the next lead into this. And I do think there's different platforms for different types of content. And will YouTube be the answer for every single type of content? No, probably not. I don't even think it's trying to be.
Rhett and Malik were just saying they're doing long form and they're getting lots of views and it's going really well. You don't think YouTube's
That's
a
where the
platform
audience
for
is.
that?
That's right.
What do you guys think? Go ahead.
Well, okay, so specifically this issue of on YouTube versus off YouTube. First of all, it's really difficult to maintain relevance on YouTube, so we put all our resources into that. I think Smosh is an exceptional situation in that they have so much momentum. Now, for us, we did a little experiment with Good Mythical Morning last year where we did a show after the show called Good Mythical More. We just let the camera keep rolling. It becomes very just ad-lib and improv for about another 8 to 10 minutes. And we posted those videos on rhettandlink.com.
Exclusively
Put
off of YouTube.
Put a link in the description and also within the video to go over there. We had about an average of about 1,000 people go watch that video, and we were like, why are we doing this? This past season on Good Mythical Morning, we just created a new channel called Good Mythical More. We have about 100,000 people go over and watch that video.
As a baseline.
And so it's just, for us, especially, this whole idea of the video content, to echo what you're saying, people are going to watch videos on YouTube, but I know that Smosh is an exception to that because I know that there's people going and watching videos over there, but they also have an incredible blog too,
So Malik, how do you keep people on YouTube? What do you do?
Well, first, I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all. I mean, you're hearing sort of different approaches and strategies right here on the panel. From YouTube standpoint, and just my experience, like I used to work in the movie business, and even the idea of releasing a film that only stayed in theaters and didn't go anywhere else, or only released on home video and didn't go anywhere else, just wasn't even an idea. So I think it's a sign of maturity in the business that you do see some diversification where it makes sense.
Yeah, so
it's more than maturity in the business, it's the maturity of the audience. And so when YouTube first started out, people were going there to watch 45-second videos of cats or turtles on skateboards or whatever it is.
Turtles on skateboards, that's a new one.
But it's in production. But it's evolved, and so all I have to do is watch the way that my 10-year-old son consumes content, and he's as likely to watch an hour-long video on YouTube as he is on television. And so they look at it differently, and so I think that longer videos and longer form videos are it's only a matter of time before it becomes a legitimate destination for people to consume that sort of content.
I was just going to say, yesterday we announced a major partnership for us with Fremantle and Showtime, and StyleHaul announced that we're actually going to air a show on YouTube that's on Showtime before it goes to Showtime. It's going to live on YouTube while it's on Showtime, and then it will go internationally. That's evolution. Right? That's getting a new audience. The audience on YouTube, the millennials, they're not necessarily watching cable, and we all know that. So brands like Showtime and HBO that are airing some of their episodes on a platform with a totally new audience, that's just the beginning. It's the first time it's been done.
And interestingly, you guys pointed out that you're now putting your videos on YouTube that you were putting on the website. We do a lot of the same thing, and we find that it really doesn't affect the number of views that we get on the website. We just get incremental views on YouTube. So we, put them in both places because I think the, fear of cannibalization, whether it's between television and digital or YouTube and videos on our website, it really doesn't work that way.
It's not either or.
Yeah.
You
It's
see
not.
Fallon posting on NBC.com and on YouTube, and it just all works together.
So we have 6 minutes and 22 seconds, 20 seconds left, and a bunch of topics I want to cover. So we're going to do a lightning round on a couple of these. Patreon just raised $15 million. They've got that model subscription. There's it's cool. And I know Jack is talking a little bit later today. Great for them. Subbable was up here last year on this stage announcing. We've got tip jars. We've got Tap is bringing the Glenn Beck model out there. Are any of these sort of tip jar subscription things, are they significant enough? And could they replace advertising? What are you guys doing, Rhett and Link?
Not for us at this point. I mean, the brand deals are so lucrative. We're not comfortable asking for our fans to invest directly when everyone wins the other way with the way that we've been working.
Yeah.
I think again, I think it's there are many examples of creators who do something branded, or the nature of their content does not lend itself to integrations as well as our content does. And for them, and I'm not saying we'll never do that model, but I just think it depends on the creator. And for us, we're asking our audience to take this branded content, and they're enjoying it and they want more of it. But then if we're like, hey, and also guys, we're working with Gillette, give us some money in the tip jar at the same time. At this point, we're not comfortable with that.
But I think that, you saw Fred Seibert talk about it before this panel and Bernie Burns talk about it before that. It really depends on the brand and the creative that you're trying to produce. And so, if you are going completely outside of what you traditionally do, and it's harder for a big company like ours to be in that space, but if individual creators or individual channels are going outside of their traditional production and they want to raise money, as Smosh did, to make a video game, they might go outside and use some of these to fund that.
Yeah, it's like special projects based. I think it would be a different story in that.
Rather than just a general thing.
And
Right.
I'd add, I think the bottom line is that it's so awesome that there's all these options now. Like that there's options for creators to pull in different revenue streams, and I think that's a positive.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's move on to merchandise. One of the reasons why we at Discovery bought Phil DeFranco and SourceFed is because he built this amazing merchandise arm called For Human Peoples, and you should all be wearing their t-shirts and buying them, I will say that. It's a great way to make money. Is merchandise a savior? Who's doing a good job with merchandise? Stephanie, what are you guys doing with merchandise?
I mean, it's naturally built into what we do. We're fashion and beauty, right? The girls can see as much as a 20% uptake in intent to purchase because they're so authentic with their audience. So like these guys, they kind of said to me, no, we're not asking our audience for money to do stuff. So I said, fine, that's you. They're the ones that are connected with the audience. They're selling naturally because they're talking about, hey, I love my jacket, hey, I love my makeup. It's happening naturally. As far as creating merchandise, some of them have started doing that. It's certainly an evolution in the space. It's not, the YouTube platform we've discussed, it's not exactly set up for that to be the main focus.
Yeah.
So it's not where everybody's
Is that fur for sale, by the way?
Never.
No, but these shoes are.
You
Right,
can
we
click
sell
on the annotation and buy stuff.
Redlink.com/store. You can pick up a pair of the mythical shoes right here.
They make you fly.
Actually, I'm not kidding. We sell these shoes. So for us, it's interesting because merchandise has not been a really significant revenue stream. It has been a brand building exercise. For instance, we do sell these shoes not because we're getting rich off of the shoes, but because our community designed them. The mythical beasts actually we crowdsourced them to design this shoe, and then many of them bought it. And this is like 3 years ago, and we have a number of colors that we sell. And it's not really for the revenue stream as much as it is because the mythical beasts have the Good Mythical Morning mug that they can drink out of. They have the shoes they can wear. They have the Red Link t-shirt. It's a little bit of money, but it's mostly just brand building and people being a part of something.
Yeah.
We're later on today, just to tease a little bit out of what we're going to be talking about later, we're announcing some products within YouTube that will actually make that easier and make kind of pointing to things and merchandise a little bit easier.
So the YouTube store is opening up, is that it?
No.
You're going to have branded stores right next to the Apple stores? Is the YouTube store?
No. And one other thing, that there's an interesting property called Galinha Pintadinha out of Brazil, which they were born on YouTube, animated property for families and kids, and they have a huge merchandise selection. They sell about 1,000 properties or merchandise out there. So
very little time left. One last topic I want to talk about, and I want to give everybody 15 seconds if they want to talk about it. Live events, how important is live event and actually, I mean, look at VidCon this year, right? 20,000 people or whatever in a small city right here. How important are live events to what you're doing and for making money? Stephanie, start.
I mean, I think it's a little bit less right this moment for us about making money, although the brands are asking for it. They want to actually meet these people. They want to come off the screen. I mean, you look around you, look how many people are here to meet these channels. I think it's an extremely important part of the business. Like Malik's saying, like we're starting to round out, right? Look at all these new types of things. Live events is definitely a piece of that.
Live, Rhett, Lake?
We love the idea of doing something live, but we have
No immediate
2
plans.
wives and 5 children, and that's a real big tour bus, and we insist on separate tour buses. Because we're not really friends in real life, so that's very expensive. So not at the current
I'm going
time.
to the tour bus company. What are you guys doing, Barry, over at Defy with
You know,
live?
for us, it really depends on the partner and the talent. And, you know, we don't do a lot of live events with Smosh because they're so busy doing videos and other things that we can't really discuss right here. But they've got a lot of
Come on, we're all friends.
No, they got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But you know, it depends
Like
on the
illegal
people.
stuff?
Like movies? Yeah.
Malik, you know, it's part of the thing that Malik's going to talk about later. You know, it really depends on the talent, and whether it's talent like Phil DeFranco, who's really great at performing live,
Yep.
it makes a lot of sense.
Malik, anything to add in the 11 seconds we have left about live? Is there, you don't have YouTube stores, you can have a YouTube tour?
We're on the live side. On the live side, we're building that out more and trying to improve the live experience.
Cool, well, you know, that's all the time we have. Please thank my panel, Stephanie Horbaczewski, Rhett and Link, Barry Blumberg, Malik Ducard, everybody up, and we are going to go off stage. Thank you all for coming to VidCon. Thanks to Hank and John for doing this for what feels like forever, and enjoy the next few days.
Thank you.